Hello and welcome to Ignite Your Soul Purpose. I'm Leora, your host for your event, and I have a pleasure today to welcome Pippa Leslie. Hello, Pippa.
Hey, how are you?
Nice to meet you, and thank you for having us and being here with us. So Pip is a quantum healing hypnosis practitioner and Reiki master. Her work stretches from healing to guidance to spiritual coaching and relationships and more as well. Her passion has always been to help others live a happier and fulfilled life. Pips is always learning and studying so she can share and help more people. And her values are really aligned with the Tao Te Ching, which she'll talk a little bit today about as well. And she enjoys ancient wisdom and also the voices of our past. So, Pippa, thank you again for being here on this beautiful event. If you could tell the audience a little bit more about you and how you got to step into your purpose and your journey through your purpose.
Thank you for having me, and hi everyone. So I'm actually in New Zealand, which is a big part of my journey. I'll touch on that slightly in a moment. For me, being a quantum healing hypnosis practitioner, it's such a mouthful, isn't it? I just say QHHT, but that's the short version of it. That came into my life about a year ago. And what's quite interesting with my journey is 4 years ago, I remember listening to Dick Supton online. He's a hypnosis practitioner and he's just come into mind for some reason. And I used to listen to his past lives and his hypnosis meditations. And I used to think, oh my God, I could never do hypnosis. I could never put someone through a past life because I didn't see my potential. And 4 years later, I'm doing that right now in my home, in actually this room. So it just makes me really grateful to when I kind of say that's what I do now, it's just, I'm really grateful for where I am on my journey. So my purpose is still evolving. And I know we're going to touch on a lot of things today, but my purpose is still evolving, and it will always evolve on this planet because I'm doing what I love. I'm doing what brings me joy. I'm doing what lights me up, and that is helping people. And it's also bettering myself and expanding myself as well, because that's key in purpose, because we have to evolve, we have to grow, because when we evolve and we grow, we can help others do the same. So it's like, if you think of a flower, blossoming, another flower blossoms, think about that. We all want each other to blossom. So my soul purpose journey has definitely been one, as Wayne would say, from ambition to meaning. And if any of you have watched Wayne or listened to Wayne Dyer's work, I would definitely recommend to watch his movie, The Shift. That is definitely a big movie for change. And it's been a big life-changing movie and his work for me as well. So
fantastic. And I love how you say from ambition to meaning, because, at times it's just kind of knowing, okay, what is my purpose? I have always ideas. I have always opportunities. Which one do I follow? But it's really about, again, your passion and what is meaning. And I always tell also my clients is as long as you serve as well, and serve with passion, and that's really, it kind of guides you into your purpose. And like you said, it's always evolving, because we are evolving on a constant basis as we get to know ourselves as well. So beautiful. And so can you tell the audience a little bit about quantum hypnosis? What is it, and how does it differ a little bit, or maybe is it the same as regular hypnosis?
Yeah, so QHHT was developed by Dolores Cannon, and I didn't know anything about her at the time until she started popping up all over my social media, into my life, through my Reiki master, through friends. And I was like, okay, I need to check this woman out. And she passed away in 2015. And, I'm still reading her books. I'm still getting to know her as a person. Considering Wayne Dyer is on my wall here, so I always point to him here. Dolores is definitely a teacher for me. She gets me to see different things, especially from like the alien world and like different planets and past lives. And it's just been very different to like what Wayne would teach. So it's great to have that mind open to everything. So Dolores spent many years developing a technique, and she says that they helped her. So her higher self, her guides, And she did things like clinical hypnosis. She tried every single different hypnosis there is. And eventually she developed QHHT. Now, ultimately, QHHT, anyone can do it. The only people we can't work with is schizophrenia, which is just what we've been taught. So anyone can have QHHT. Now, I've had clients reach out and say, I can't be hypnotized. Now, for anyone who's interested in having QHHT, I was skeptical at first. You know, when I first had my session 2 years ago, I was like, how is this going to work? Like, how is this going to, I remember my guide saying to me, just trust, let go, have an open mind. So I went and my session blew me away, and I knew I had to be a practitioner. So basically it's like taking you through a deep guided meditation. That's what I say to my clients. You are going into a beautiful state. And when people ask me what state that is, how I connected to it and how I explain it is, when you fall asleep at night and you close your eyes, you're turning off your main sense, your sight. We never remember the second we fall asleep. We don't know we fall asleep at 10 o'clock, 5 past 10, 7 minutes past 10. You know, if I said to you, Leora, what time did you exactly fall asleep last night? You have no idea. You know, you got in bed at 10, you closed your eyes and you fell asleep. I always say, from closing your eyes to that moment of falling asleep, that's the state we're in. It's a beautiful, deep state of healing. And in a QHHT session, it can be between 4 to 6 hours, sometimes longer. We spend a lot of deep time with the client. We take them through past lives, which can have so many answers and so many healing moments and connections to this life. And then we go and speak to their subconscious or the higher self or the oversoul. And that is the most interesting part, because people's subconsciouses are just unbelievably, they're just witty, funny, calm, stern, like this, they're so different. And we record the session, and then they get to leave with all these answers and all these and this healing. And it's just beautiful to see. I did a live today, one of the QHHT practitioners in the group, and every client's different. Every past live's different. Every subconscious is different. And they come in quite closed off, you know, wall up. Mm-hmm. And when they leave, the wall's just shattered, and they feel happier, lighter, and they feel like they've connected to purpose. And that is one of the main questions that people come for QHHT for. They get to ask their subconscious questions. And one of the main questions we see 90% of the time is, what is my purpose? Why am I here? What am I meant to do in this lifetime? And they find the answers. And that's the main thing, is there are so many modalities out there, as you've probably been speaking to so many, Leora, over the last few days, all these different beautiful modalities that we're all offering each other. And there are so many ways to connect your purpose. And I would just say, go for all of it. Go for all of it, because your purpose is within you, and you just need to unlock that piece of you. And it's beautiful to be able to do that for others.
Exactly. No, that's beautiful. And usually, can someone find their purpose in just one session, or is it they usually have several sessions? How does it usually work?
So one thing I want to give a message to everyone today is, your purpose isn't something you go and find in a field or on the street and you pick it up and you hold it and you don't want to drop it and you keep it close to you. Your purpose is already within you. It runs in your blood, it runs in your DNA, it runs in your soul, it runs in your body. Mm-hmm. It's everywhere within you. If you are living a life of disconnect, of not alignment, you won't feel like you're living purpose. And how I connect to purpose is living life each day with meaning. And that's what I mentioned before about going from ambition to meaning. So within the shift, he mentions about, it's a book called Quantum Change. And it's about people having these quantum shifts and quantum leaps. You've probably heard of them before, Leora. And I've had a quantum shift. It's just basically like you can't explain it. And Wayne talks about this in the shift. You cannot explain it. There are no words to explain it. It's just the language cannot explain the feeling. But people go from like, they have these values, and the values are like top 5 values. And before a quantum shift, they may be like money, wealth, pleasure, things like that. And when they have a quantum shift, they then go into like spirituality, growth, you know, so they kind of have this huge shift. So when we connect to purpose, it is about having that life of meaning. So I always say to people, people who come into your life, you've come into my life, all these little nuggets in our lives are adding to our purpose. You're allowing me to live my purpose right now. And I'm so grateful. So think of it like that. When you start to connect to purpose, your soul's like, yes, she's on the path. He's on the path. And the universe is singing your praises. You're in alignment. You know what it feels like when you connect to purpose. It's like light bulbs are just going off. Now, there's some days where you might question your purpose. You may feel anxious. You may feel sad. You may feel like you're doing the wrong thing. It's to go back to your true north. Go back to what it is. Why do you do what you do? What brings you joy? What brings you happiness? What lights you up? What can you not get out of your head? If you've got a niggle in your head consistently all day, go and do Reiki healing. Go and be a QHHT practitioner. Go and be a public speaker. Go and help the elderly. And it's constantly there bugging you, whispering, shouting. It will shout louder until you listen. So sometimes we can feel disconnect, when things happen in our life. Don't forget, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. So in our human experience, we will have to go through loss, grief, sadness, anger, all these emotions we feel. And sometimes purpose may feel like it's slipping away. Bring it back through healing, modalities, spending time with people who light you up. Go back, pick up the breadcrumbs, and you will connect to it again.
Totally. Oh my God, so well said. And I love how, you mentioned earlier how, for example, with Dolores Cannon, she just popped up, right? You say, I think in your emails. And for me as well, with doing this work I'm doing with soul purpose reading, it just literally, I just got some random email and just, and I love how your soul the universe just dropped nuggets, like you said, in your mailbox, through a billboard, through someone you just meet in the street who just say something that is a message. And for me, it was the same way. It was through an email, soul purpose reading. So what is a soul purpose reading? Got one and changed my life because now I'm doing it. And it was just, now I'm really on purpose with that. So it's also being present, right? Being present enough to catch those messages that your soul is sending you on a constant basis every day. Which, I tell always my client, make sure you meditate because it helps you be present. Being present, you will catch and get so many messages from your soul, which will direct you all the time. It's literally your GPS, right?
It sure is.
So, no, totally. Fantastic. And then, so also one thing that I know that it's really close to your heart is the teachings of the Tao Te Ching and Dharma. Can you touch on that also, and how it's connected to the purpose and yeah.
Yeah, so the Tao Te Ching came into my life through Wayne Dyer, and I'd never heard of it before. And Wayne spent a whole year studying the Tao and rewriting the Tao in how he sees it. So I spent, a month or so reading the Tao Te Ching, and it's just like music to your ears. It's like reading something, and it speaks directly to your soul. Now, anyone who's listening, watching this, you will find people in your life, inspirational teachers, healers, that you listen to them and they speak directly to your soul, and you're just like, oh, she speaks my language, she speaks to my soul, he speaks to my soul. And that was what Wayne did. And when he rewrote the Tao Te Ching, I was just mesmerized by it. And the teachings are just so beautiful. And it was written 500 years before the Bible. And it consists of 81 verses. And it's actually said to be the wisest book ever written by a name called Lao Tzu. Now, we don't know if he was a real person, if it was just channeled. And it's just beautiful because the messages it gives you, and that's where I got my values from. One of the most famous line out of the Tao Te Ching is, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. Now, you've heard that before. That comes from the Tao Te Ching. So one of my favorite quotes from the Tao is, the Tao that can be named is not the eternal Tao. So that basically means Tao, universe, God, source, high spirit, however you want to connect to that. It doesn't matter what you call it. It's everywhere. It's within all of us. So when we move into the word Dharma, Dharma just is life purpose. Dharma in Sanskrit means right direction. So, Wayne taught me this, everything has a Dharma. A tree has a Dharma. A flower has a Dharma. My beautiful 2 dogs have Dharmas. And the thing is, a tree does not question its Dharma. It doesn't sit there and go, should I be a tree or should I be a flower? So when you start to realize nature, so the Tao helps us to connect back to nature. There's another part of one of the lines in the Tao Te Ching talks about staying low like the water. All the rivers and the streams come into the ocean. So it says stay low and humble like the ocean, because everything's going to come to you, and it's just beautiful. Like just how it just, the old Tao Te Ching is harder to kind of read because it's the old language. It's kind of like a bit of a puzzle. When you're reading it, you're like, you have to kind of sit with it. But when Wayne wrote it in Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, it's easy to kind of understand. So basically, living your Dharma, you can't, it's like Wayne teaches it and I teach my clients, you can't not live Dharma. It's like, if you try and not, let's say I'm a tree, okay? I'm an oak tree. If I try to be a willow tree, it won't feel right. I'm not meant to be a willow tree. But if I stand in what I'm meant to do, and getting goosebumps now, if I stand in what I'm meant to be, which is an oak tree, everything will just feel natural. It will flow. It won't feel forced. It will feel like it's meant. It will feel great and happy and light and love and joy. So if something is in your life that doesn't feel right, you have the power to change it. And I'm not saying to just kind of like go and quit your job and stop doing this. And it's just about moving into the feelings, moving into the feeling of what you want, to what you desire, moving into purpose. If you are in like a 9-to-5 job and you really are not feeling great, it's not fulfilling you, but it's paying bills. That's great. What can you see in that position? That's gratitude. And move into something that is going to give you purpose. Take that one step. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with that one single step. And the universe hears you and responds, let's do this. And it has to come from you taking that inspired action. So the Tao Te Ching is definitely a must read. There's quite a few different versions, but Wayne's is definitely my favorite, and it gives you like a little exercise to do. But it's just beautiful when it comes down to Dharma. Dharma is just your life purpose. You all have a Dharma and you have to live it. You can't not. Wayne also says we all have music to play. So don't die with your music still in you. So we all have a certain tune to play. We all have a different instrument to play. So don't die with your music still in you. That's a big, big thing to remember.
Oh, yes. And you just reminded me, because I did read a lot of work from Wayne Dyer as well. And I want to go back to the teachings because it's just so deep. And every time you read it as well, you unpeel so many layers of yourself. And I love what you said, you just go with the flow. When you're on purpose, everything just flows in your life. I don't know about you, but I look at my life, it has so much beauty in it just because I am in the flow. And sometimes being in the flow can be uncomfortable, right? And I don't, you tell me, from your experience, but what I've noticed is where I am a little bit uncomfortable. So let's say that first step is, it takes me in the place of, oh, there's a little bit of discomfort. It's also where my growth is, right? And, for me, it's always been about public speaking. Well, now I'm doing it, right? And I've discovered a side of myself that I didn't know. So I don't know, from your experience, did you encounter that as well in terms of
Yes.
your growth being into the discomfort?
Yes. That's where you grow the most, the discomfort. When I did my first live 5 years ago on Facebook, oh my God, I remember feeling like the nerves. I was like, oh, people are going to watch me. And you start to let go of the judgment of yourself as well. Like the judgments just kind of fall away and you realize, I'm just, and the thing is when, think about, you met, just to go back a little bit to the Tao Te Ching,
Mm-hmm.
I show up for others. So I would definitely recommend people to connect to their values. So as I mentioned earlier, if you watch The Shift, it talks about the quantum change book. And there's a study in the back of the book. I think it's called The Moment Your Values Are Turned Upside Down After a Quantum Shift. So I would definitely get people to connect to the values, sit with it, get a pad and a pen and write down, what are my values? So instantly when I read the Tao Te Ching, my values came from the Tao Te Ching. I just knew, I was like, them, that's it. And that is reverence for all life, kindness, gentleness, and service to others. So I'm a big, big person to, even though we're serving others, we're serving ourselves in the process. And there's a quote that Wayne said on his podcast years ago, and he said, whatever you desire for yourself, desire it more for others. So if you are desiring to connect to your life purpose, soul purpose, want it more for others too. Because when others around you are living their purpose, we can all just rejoice together. It's just beautiful to have that.
Exactly. Oh, so well said. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And so just to shift a little bit, I know another work as well that you're doing is with using Reiki. So you're also a Reiki practitioner as well. And can you touch on a little bit also about what Reiki is, and also how our audience can use that modality to help them as well on their soul purpose journey?
Yeah, so I'm now a Reiki master, so I teach Reiki, and Reiki was definitely a turning point in my spiritual journey. So I did my level 1 in 2016, and that's kind of when my spiritual doorway opened. So it definitely ignited my soul purpose. I was like, oh, I could do this. I could do this. I could definitely do this. And I remember going for my first session and I was blown away. I went on this journey. I was like lying there for an hour with my Reiki master. And I went on this journey, and I was like, met all these guides, and I met all these spirit animals and these angels. And they was like, right, it's time. We've been waiting for you. And I was like, waiting for what? And they were like, waiting for you to get on this path and this journey, and your purpose is waiting. You're waiting to connect to it. I was like, oh. And I was like 26 at the time. So I was still like, moving into that, next stage in life. So I remember just having my Reiki done and then doing my Reiki level 1. And I was like, oh, this is it. So Reiki is an energy healing. So it works on your chakra system. So we have lots of chakras, but the Reiki chakra system is consistent of the 7, which is crown, third eye, throat, heart, solar plexus, sacral, and then your root chakra. And ultimately people come to Reiki to heal, to connect, to help with sleep, for headaches, for illnesses, sicknesses, everything really. And again, as I mentioned, all these modalities that there are right now, I say to my clients, try everything, go for it, try it all. It's like going to a sweet shop as a kid and trying all the sweets and finding your favorite. You need to do it. You need to do it. So Reiki can be a beautiful tool to help you to connect, to help you heal, to help you align. Because again, purpose is about aligning, connecting. So if you feel off balance, and how I see chakras is like clogs. So like your clogs get stuck and you just need to give them a bit of a boost. So as a Reiki healer, we sit with the client and we can, Reiki can just come up in different ways. My Reiki sessions are totally different to what they used to be. They're very intuitive now. They can involve going out into the grass and grounding. They can involve pulling cards. They can involve just reading and intuitive guidance, lots of different things. But ultimately, trying Reiki healing as well is, again, for that connection and that alignment. And all it is an energy healing. It's very soft, very gentle, very compassionate, very loving. And, people can cry, they can laugh. It's such a beautiful modality to have. And teaching it, I just taught a student on Monday. And every time I teach someone, I'm like, oh, I'm passing this knowledge on. It's beautiful. I'm so grateful I get to do that.
Oh no, it's amazing. And and I love also that it's all about helping you peeling out layers, right? Because some of us, now I've done the work for years, but some people still carry a truckload of stuff, right? And it's just about, if you want to really be in your purpose, first I feel like you need to clear, you need to empty that load. And those tools are here to help you do that, right? And heal parts of you that need to be healed. But also, you mentioned the chakras. I think about, for example, we talk about the fear of public speaking. Usually it's something that to do with the throat chakra. So clearing that throat chakra to help you be on purpose in terms of maybe you're meant to be a public speaker, right? So I love that. Beautiful. Anything else you would like to add, Pippa, for the audience?
I think with the chakra system as well, like I wanted to touch on the heart. So when we teach Reiki, we talk about the heart being the gateway to the upper three and the lower three. And, when clients come to see me for whatever modality it is, I do a lot of heart connection, because, especially like with meditation and breath work and whatever it is that I do with clients, how often on a daily basis do you stop and just give some gratitude and thanks to your heart? Not like all the other organs aren't doing a great job, they are, but your heart is literally keeping you alive day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute. It never stops. It's constantly beating. You don't have to wake up and say, come on, it's time to beat. It's constantly doing it for you. It's always beating for you. So something I do with clients, and you're welcome to this now, is just to put your hand on your heart and connect to your heartbeat. So you can close your eyes, you can take a deep breath, and you'll start to hear your heartbeat through yourself. You can slow your heart rate down with breath work, things like that. But it's just about listening to your heartbeat and counting the heartbeat if you want to, but just spending like a minute in your day just to connect consciously to the heart, and you start to realize, wow. And we all have a heart. We all have this connection through heart, and heart is where we feel love. It's where we feel sadness, So when we connect to the heart and we remember that we are just love, we are just pure love. And that is what God is and the universe is just pure, unconditional love. And that is what your heart is. So when we start to connect to that, gratitude just washes over us. It washes over us. And for me, when I do that, it's like the foundation. It's like I've done my little heart center. I've done my little heart connection. Now, what's next? Where do we go next? I'm ready for the day. So there's people connect to the lungs. You can connect to the lungs and say, thank you for the breath. Thank you for breathing for me. Think when you go to sleep, your heart and your lungs are constantly breathing and beating, never stopping, always beating, always breathing. So when we just we take it for granted. So if we stop and just look around at the things we do take for granted and sit with them, it's a beautiful thing to do, really. It really is a beautiful thing to do. And obviously listen to Wayne too, Wayne teaches so many different things. And I think when it comes to, I don't like saying finding purpose, because you don't find purpose. It's not missing. It isn't missing. It's not, like I said, it's not out there. We need to go and find it. It's here. It's here, right here within you. All you need to do is look, listen. Like you said before, meditate, get quiet, get in nature, slow the heart rate, slow your life down, connect to what it is, and you'll start to hear it. You'll start to hear it. And the more you don't listen, the louder it gets. So you'll then get the signs. If you're not connecting and slowing down and realizing the signs are everywhere. The signs are everywhere. Angel numbers, feathers, songs on the radios, like people come into your life, the random person who calls you, like the signs are everywhere. And the quieter you get, the more you can hear.
Exactly. Now, and would you be okay if we did a little heart connection together, since we are connected? I think it'll be beautiful to do that together as well.
Yes. So as I said before, place your hand on your heart and just close your eyes. Just clear the mind. And you can feel your heartbeat. And if you can't hear it through the ears, I want you to feel it with your hand. And maybe just say in your mind, ba-bum, ba-bum, and go with that rhythm in your mind. giving some love and gratitude to your heart, always beating for you day and night. Connecting to how each person's heart on every single person on this planet is beating right now as we do this. No matter where they are in the world, each person that we are connected to has a heart beating for them. Send some gratitude and thanks to your heart, for it feels so deeply. If you're feeling sad or heartbroken today, know your heart will always heal. How you feel right now is temporary. Love will come, love will be there always. Love is who you are. It's who you've always been, and it's who you will always be. Love, pure love. And just tell your heart that you love it. I love you so much. Thank you for beating every day of my life. From the moment I was born in this physical existence to the day I pass from this physical existence. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Just take a nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Wow. Oh, I'm all sweaty. Oh,
So beautiful. You know, when
it doesn't even take that long, and it's so powerful.
Totally. And it's funny because as soon as you said tutum, tutum, literally I had a flash of Dirty Dancing.
Yeah.
The movie, you know, when he said to connect to the heart. And the message I received right away is dance with life. Dance your life and just radiate, shine your inner beauty right away. So again, it's so easy, it's so powerful, and you get messages right away when you connect.
And it's simple as well. Like, we don't have to complicate things. Like, what a big tip I want to give is, when we want to connect to our soul purpose, you know, we don't have to complicate it. It's so simple. It's just so simple. It's not this big quest and mission and thing to go and, like, you have to get on your horse with your knight, and you don't have to do any of that. It's easy. It just flows. It doesn't need to be hard. If connecting to soul purpose is starting to feel hard and challenging, go back to basics, go back to heart, go back to connection, go back to love. Why are you here? Why have you come to earth now? Why are you here? And ask yourself those questions, meditate on those questions, write those questions down. Why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? If the answers don't come instantly, keep meditating. And that's what, just touch on self-care too. When you do things you love too, it could be like, that's why I say to my clients, do lots of self-love, like self-care, because you find a lot of purpose in that as well. You know, because I tell my clients to do a lot of self-care and self-love. So you may go for a massage each week and realize you want to be a massage therapist because you love having this done to you. Go and volunteer with the elderly or the homeless. You might find your purpose in that. Go and invite the girls around to your house and have like a little full moon ritual. You might find your purpose in that. There's so many possibilities. Just go and explore and be adventurous.
Exactly. Oh, so well said. Thank you so much, Piper. That was absolutely beautiful and so much wisdom that you shared with us today. So thank you so much. Many blessings on the journey and of helping so many souls.
Namaste.